haven't thought about GameStop's retro games for a while now, which is kind of interesting, but I figured I'd pull out my computer here and we'll go over whether or not their prices are good or bad or just okay for retro games. So I'm pulling up the website right here, and I realize it's pretty hard to figure out where their retro games are, but if you go to the menu, and then you go to video games, and then find retro gaming all the way at the bottom, this is the way to find it, which is okay. It's not great, but it is what it is. Then you're left with a bunch of options here. I'm not really sure how it's ordered because it seems to be kind of just random, but we're going to start off with the Nintendo 64. We'll hit up PlayStation, Xbox, and maybe see what else kind of looks good here. Right off the bat, you see there is a bunch of games here. I'm going to start with Super Mario 64 because that is a huge, heavy-hitting game for the Nintendo 64. So hopefully the prices here are relatively close. If you look on GameStop's website, it's either $37.99 or $36.09. So you save 10% on that, which is pretty interesting. But if you go over to price charting, which I'm going to use just as kind of like a benchmark, their prices aren't always the perfect amount, but they're pretty good to just look at. So first off, we've got the Nintendo 64, and here we are. $31 for it loose. I'm going to look at all the prices as loose because you never know what GameStop's going to give you. So loose, you're looking at $31 on price charting, or $37 or $36 depending on what membership you have. That's not too bad. It's not a great deal by any means. It's a little overpriced by about $5, but it's kind of what you would expect there. I also see Mario Kart 64, so let's look that up. And while it's loading, we will check out the price on GameStop's. Again, $37.99 with a Pro membership. It's $36.09, which is pretty good. Now, just thinking that doesn't seem too off the cuff crazy, but let's go ahead and see what price charting has it at. Okay, it's actually underpriced according to price charting. $42.50, $43 here. So you're saving about $5 here, which or $6 depending. So that's actually a pretty good deal here. So let's see. The first one was $5 over. The second one was $5 under. Let's see. I want to do like one more. I'm thinking maybe Smash Bros. Or Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Pokemon State. Let's just do Majora's Mask, and then we'll move on to PlayStation. Obviously, Majora's Mask is going to be worth a little bit more, but let's see if it's worth the $59.99 price that they have it at, or the $57 price if you're a Pro member, which might actually not be bad now that I'm seeing these prices. Being a Pro member could actually be beneficial, but let's continue to see. Okay, so they have it at $60, so you're right on the money, but if you got that Pro membership, you're going to save $3 or $4, which isn't bad there. So overall, on the Nintendo 64 games, it looks like we're within $5, which is, to me, actually a pretty fair price, because if it's over $5, it's a little bit out of whack, or if it's under $5, something's weird there, but it looks like it's relatively close. We'll go ahead and look up a few PlayStation games. I want to check out Resident Evil because that caught my eye right away on the PlayStation. And let's see if it's actually worth the same. It's saying $39 on the PlayStation. Let's see if we can find one here. Okay, so it's, wow, that's actually a lot cheaper on price charting. So it's $39.99 or $37.99 if you've got the Pro membership. But if you get it loose, you're spending $10 less, which is pretty crazy. That's a little too overpriced in my book. I would just not pick this up at all, and this kind of feels what I would expect from GameStop. But let's do something like Chrono Cross is only $9.99, so I don't know if that's right. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I feel like that's probably a little underpriced. Okay, yeah, so if you pick it up, loose disc, $17, but it looks like it's $9.99 on their GameStop website, and if you have a pro membership, it's $9.50. So, and they have it in stock, it seems like. That's pretty interesting to me. I was not expecting to see that to be underpriced when Resident Evil was so overpriced. So a few bucks there. It's $7. That's actually pretty good. Let's see what else. Okay. Let's do Mega Man 8. Mega Man 8 is only $9, which is pretty interesting to me. But we'll see what price charting has it at. Okay, $10. We're in the same ballpark here. Within $1 is basically the same to me. But you know, with these loose disc or with these disc-based games, you're probably going to get a lot of loose disc games, and I'm really not a big fan of that. So Nintendo prices were pretty spot on, but PlayStation seemed like they're all over the place. Let's see if we can find one that's like really kind of expensive maybe, and see if we can find them. Okay, Symphony of the Night. This is probably going to be probably the best Castlevania game, and probably one of the best PS1 games. So let's see how much they have it for. On price charting, it's $59.99 or $56.99 with the pro membership, so that's a decent price. $70. Okay, that's actually a pretty good deal. I'm wondering if the price difference is just because of like the fluctuation in the market, but that's a good $10 off, or $13 if you've got a pro membership. So it seems like these PlayStation prices are all over the place. But let's go back and see what other consoles. I'll probably look at Xbox. Let's do the original Xbox here, since we did do the PlayStation. And it looks like they do have some. Scarface is $27.99. I don't know about that. So let's check that out and see if it really is that expensive. So yeah, $27.99 or $26.59 with a pro membership. But if you have it on the price charting check, let's go see how much that costs. $32. Okay, so this game is actually worth more than I thought it was, and it's $5 cheaper at GameStop. So I'm actually kind of surprised by that. I have that game already, and it's pretty interesting, but I didn't realize it was that expensive. Let's see if we can find another one. Scooby-Doo. Ooh, Simpsons Hit and Run. That's an amazing game. Definitely well worth it. If you have either an Xbox, a PlayStation 2, or a GameCube, you definitely got to have Simpsons Hit and Run on it. Absolutely amazing game. Let's see how much it's going for. It's going for $30 loose, and they had it for $29.99. So right on here. They're actually doing pretty good with these Xbox prices. Let's see what else we found. Shadow the Hedgehog. I want to find one that's more like 60 or 50 or 40, because I want to see if there's any like more of a differential like there was on some of those other expensive games. So let's scroll through and see if I don't know if I'll be able to find one, honestly. We'll see. But it seems like there's a bunch of, I'm going to say under $30. Okay, there's a 35 game. Let's keep scrolling. Ooh, let's do Godzilla Save the Earth. Absolutely awesome game. If you've never played it and you have a Xbox controller or an Xbox console, you definitely need to pick it up. It's definitely well worth it. And checking it out, $65 compared to $34. That's impressively cheap. So it looks like these expensive games, when the market fluctuates a lot, that GameStop doesn't update their prices, which is pretty interesting to me. Let's see if we can load that up and see if the price has... Okay, so the price has jumped recently, it looks like, and maybe the last, like... Oh, wait. Nah, it hasn't jumped that much, to be honest with you. So it's probably just because GameStop hasn't updated their prices in quite a long time, but That's definitely interesting to me. Let's check out one more console here. As you can see, they got the DS, Wii, Wii U, Super Nintendo, NES, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, PS1, 2, 3, PS Vita. Okay, whatever. Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, Xbox. Okay, so I think I'm going to pick up the Dreamcast because we can't leave out Sega on this one because they got some amazing games. And, okay, so we're hit right off the bat with Sonic Adventure 2 for 75 bucks. I haven't looked that up in a long time, so I don't have a clue how much it's actually going for. I already have the game, so I'm not, like, looking for it. But I'm definitely interested to see how much price charting has it for comparatively. Okay, 69, 70 bucks, 75. That's fair enough. If you're a pro member, you're basically paying the same price, but still a lot of money for a loose disc game. I'd probably end up passing overall. What else do we have here that's a little... Ooh, okay, so it looks like GameStop actually has some good Dreamcast games here, and they're expensive. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, 100 bucks or 95. Let's see how much it is. Okay, where's it at? Okay, there it is. So 112. 112 or 100. Here we go. Again, same thing with GameStop's pricing. Those more expensive games, they don't seem to be updating the prices, which is pretty interesting to me. So I think if you're going to go with like a pretty basic game, you're probably going to pay within $5. Either it's going to be $5 cheaper or $5 more expensive. But once you get into those more expensive games where the price fluctuates, it could be all over the place. So I think that GameStop has actually kind of pretty decent pricing, but some of those more expensive games you might get lucky on. So if you're planning on getting any of these loose disc, maybe risk it. If you get it and you don't like it, you can always return it. But for me, I haven't been to a GameStop that has retro games in like a few years. So it's pretty interesting to see how their online has changed and what the prices are. So if you like this video, let me know. But I'm going to get out of here and go finish The Last of Us on the PS5. I'm on part 1, and then I might play part 2 next. I'm not sure, but let me know if I should buy any of these retro games for a video coming up in the comments below. But I'm getting out of here, so check out that video if you haven't already.